Yo, what's good, everybody? This is your boy Ron, part of the Young Melanated Council. As soon as I can get my stuff up, bam, boom, there we go. Typically go live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, and wherever else you're at in the world, that's where you catch us live. And as always, And as always, please like, subscribe, enjoy the show. Your boy cannot talk whatsoever, but we got some updates to go along. Yerp. I see you, Gil. Yerp. I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm good. How about yourself? I don't sound too good, but let me just kind of give everybody an update. So, your boy last week. Ooh, excuse me. So your boy last week, of course, we ended the stream, wasn't feeling the world's greatest. Right, right. So since last week, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, around that time frame, I don't know what I was coming down with, but I knew that I wasn't feeling normal. I wasn't feeling myself. So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. What's up, Gil? Right. Again, in the words of my grandmother and my great grandmother, it's good to be seen. Yeah, Rocky done pulled up. Hold on, we got one more. We got one more. What's good, Chad? What's good? So, so last week wasn't feeling the world's greatest, and even then, like Thursday, I started losing my voice, and yeah, I started losing my voice, but I was just having like this thick, mucusy feeling, couldn't really breathe. So Thursday got hit with something, which rolled into Friday. And even then, the kids were like, Mr. Marzak, you're losing your voice. I'm like, listen, like, I am not going to be yelling. I don't feel good. I feel like crap, but I'm here because I know that we need people because we're short staffed, yada, yada, yada. So yesterday, so over the weekend, the missus got me and my daughter, which is crazy because my daughter, she rarely gets sick. Rarely. She's sniffing it. Normally she does not, but she is sniffling out the wazoo. And so I'm like, man, I know it's bad. I know it's real and I know it's serious if my daughter gets it. Like gets hit with something. And again, mind you, she doesn't have any allergies. She doesn't have any like food allergies. None of that. She's probably out of all three of our kids as far as like sicknesses and like illnesses goes. Not only is she the last person to get it, but she's the hardest person to contract it, if that makes sense. So again, like I said, the missus, she got us both some nasal spray, which I use before I go to bed, which works phenomenal. I can breathe at night, thank the Lord. And we also got some Mucinex DM, and then we also got like a she also got us like this oh, what is it? 'Cause I take it both with my Mucinex, but it's like another mucus like flusher outer medicine, whatever. So she got us that for over the weekend, and so I've pretty much been taking that since since Saturday. Been taking that since Saturday. So now I'm feeling better. My throat is not as terrible, and I still got my voice back. Like I hear it coming back, and so I hear my voice coming back, which is a huge plus. It's like yes, I know I'm getting better, but at the same time, I know I'm not out of the woods because I still got like this drainage thing that is coming out, and I'm guessing that's the music that's working. So I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that. I know that uh, again last week. for you guys to just like I was saying before last week, a good friend of mine, like I said, he passed, but also at the same time, there's a family that me, yes, 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 and then again, like I was just sharing, Chaz, is like, I know I sound stuffy, but at the same time, it's like I know it's my mucus and my sinuses is all of that is draining, and so every so often I have to go and blow my nose. When I blow my nose, it's like thick mucus stuff, and even then, when I cough up like the thick mucus type stuff. And so it's like I know I got an upper. Well, I know I got something. I just don't know what that something is. I know it's not COVID. That for sure. I know it's not COVID. I just took a COVID test not too long ago. I am negative for COVID. It's not COVID. I told my mom and my grandma I don't have COVID. I know I don't have COVID because I know when I had COVID, I know the symptoms. I don't have those. I don't have one of the symptoms for COVID. So no. Even though is it still running rapid? Yes. That one I don't have. But again, man, I'm trying to tell folks. I'm trying to tell folks. I'm trying to. Oh my gosh. Hold up. I got to change my name because this ain't cool. This is not right. Mm-mm. Hold up. Oh my God. I just. And see, I even get a chance to kind of figure out what was going on because, again, I took cough drop and some other stuff. I didn't even get a chance to change the name, but that's okay. Uh, Here we go. There we go. Boom. Oh, jeez. Mish. What's happening? What's happening, Mish? Number one mod in Twitch universe. I don't care what nobody says. Right there. That one. Right there. Mish. What's happening? So, uh, dealing with that, called it me stream, which was amazing. Always amazing. Always playing the retro games, even the retro indie games, which is kind of like weird, but it's like okay, cool, great. Saw that too as well. What else? Oh, yes, yes. So me and the missus, again, we were talking about this. So me and the missus this week Friday, we're going to see Creed 3. We are going to see Creed 3. I told her, like, listen, I got money set aside. Like, this has been the thing that me and you've been wanting to see the most. So, boom, I got that. And then whenever John Wick 4 comes out, again, told the missus, like, hey, I'm taking you to see John Wick 4. No ifs and buts about it. I don't care. Take you to go see John Wick 4. Like I said, we binge watched the hey, you earned this. Mish, you earned it. You earned it. Remember, you earned it. You earned that title. You earned that spot. So you're welcome, but you earned it. Anyways, as I cough out this yucky mucus stuff. So anyways, me and the missus, we binge watched John Wick chapters 1 through 3. Just took a Saturday, just binge watched it. But even then, I found it on sale, which is the only reason why I got it. And so, like, yep, we're binge watching. Nice, nice. Yeah, and even then, like the reason why she wants to watch this one in theaters because both Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, those are her two favorite male actors as far as our generation is concerned. Those are her two favorite male actors, and she just loves the both of them. Like, you know what? Why not? They're really good at what they're doing, and a lot of times they play some really strong roles that suits them. Again, why not? So again, like I said, this Friday, we're gonna go see it here, and I'll probably take her out. She don't know where we're going, but probably take her out. Go see Creed 3, talk about it on the way home and whatnot, and then maybe if I'm feeling froggy, which typically I end up doing, I'll end up buying the 3 box set. So get Creed 1, 2, and 3, especially when 3 comes out on DVD. End up doing that. Shoot. What else? I think that's really been it. I know this weather out here has been in Michigan has been really ugh. For anybody who lives in Michigan or in the Midwest region, you know what I'm talking about. This has been like today, for a prime example, today it was like 45 degrees, had a slight breeze to it, and towards the end of the day, the sun came out. We still had clouds, but it was about like mostly sunny skies with some few clouds here and there. It felt great. It felt phenomenal. It's like, yay, it's Michigan weather. Only to get played because by the end of this week, we're supposed to get hit with another snow system. And I think from my area alone, I think we're looking at probably accumulated like 3, 4 inches of snow. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's about normal-ish for Michigan, and especially in March. Like, yeah, this is about the beginning of March Madness. Like, hoorah! So that's going to be a whole nother cluster in its own right. Uh, and then again, I found out that my stepbrother, he just lost a nephew. So after my buddy's homegoing services on Saturday, I pretty much have to stay at the church because that's where my stepbrother's nephew, his services is literally like right after that. Nick, it's so good to see you, sir. It is so good to see you. So good to see you. How you been? Yeah, I've heard. I know, and that's so weird. That is so weird to me. It's like, okay, when things get real is when California gets hit with snow. And we're not talking like in the mountain ranges. No, we're kind of talking like ground level. Like that's what is the weather's like, okay, something's definitely weird. Something's definitely going on if Southern California gets it getting slapped around with snow. Like, really? Come on. Let's get real. Let's get real. Hey, Toby's in the house. Speaking of, so allow me to introduce the first host. I don't even call him a co-host because it doesn't even make sense. No, another host, part of the Melanated Council. This person is near and dear to me. And without this person with the mean puns and the one time punchlines and all the other good, crazy, creative stuff that involves with wordplay, this man has it all. And even then, when I first met this man had the Nancy Pelosi fridge and had everything stocked in there. And he survived his own challenge. What's the latest? Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. But again, getting back to this man's refrigerator, the Nancy Pelosi refrigerator and whatnot. That man had it. He had it, survived his own challenges, survived his own. I bet you I could eat this like 6 months past the expiration date and live to tell about it. Yep, that's that person. So if y'all know who it is, y'all go ahead and give it up for a round of applause of Toby. If I can get him in.
What's going on? Thank you. Much appreciated. Though I got myself a little plate of just like assorted stuff.
What is
Croissant.
that?
There's eggs. So I mean, you got croissants, two types. You have like some eggs with I think this is cauliflower. There's some broccoli, there's some spinach. There's turkey bacon and regular bacon. Um,
Wait,
broccoli,
what?
spinach, cauliflower, turkey bacon, regular bacon, and a little bit of cheese
Okay,
sprinkled on. So none of it's
let's
expired
go.
though. At least it shouldn't be. Hey, Mish. Well, hey everybody, honestly. But what's up?
Yeah, tea
um,
time in the house. Yeah,
yes, it's
there you
tea
go.
time.
Hit him with that. Yeah, hit him with that watch. Hit him with
Tea
that watch.
time. Tea time, but no Britain.
Okay, come on.
No, but what's oh yeah, it sounds like you're doing worse than me. I was really going through it fever yesterday, like in the
Hold
evening.
on.
Had a fever. I've had like what happened? Let's get ready to tell us fever. Honestly, that's funny you say that
Hit him.
because I used to actually like when I would go to hotels, I usually would travel for conferences. I would travel for like sometimes grad school visits, and usually it was covered. So the hotel fee was covered because I was there on like an academic type of trip. And so I would raid the hotel, not so much the breakfast or whatever, but I would raid like the toiletries. So I would take all the tissue paper I could, the box of tissues, even if it was like one of those things where you couldn't exactly take the thing out. Like I wouldn't take the metal case, but I would take the box of tissues. I would take all the toilet rolls. I would take like all the shampoo and conditioners. Um, and I would just literally raid everything I could, like not the towels or anything. So I'm not trying to get charged. But yeah, so that was
Yikes.
a while. That was like some years ago. I haven't really been traveling like that. And when I did, I didn't have as much leeway, I would say. Um, but yeah, so I hopefully it sound okay. I think I'm mostly good. It's just like
Yeah.
I still
Oh
feel a little
Lord.
congested a little bit in my throat, but my throat's
Yeah.
much better. Um the urge to cough is not as bad. But it's there a little bit. And then my chest was ooh. Okay, thankfully my chest is actually pretty clear because when I woke up it was not. It was just mucus, like not trying to be too graphic or anything, but it was very much like not fun. And a lot of times when I'm sick, it'll kind of build up like that. But like I actually felt like the chest congestion,
Mm.
like more so like the way you do when you kind of have like a sinus infection or like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a chest infection. So, but it cleared out it seems. So that's actually really good. So I'm hoping by tomorrow I'll feel closer to 100%, which is good because you know for the last like 4 or 5.
Oh crap. Um. hmm. That is very strange indeed. So moving on, as our previous sponsor comes back, we got somebody else to bring into the stage, and yes, yes, that's hilarious. That is hilarious. So we're gonna make this trifecta complete. We're gonna bring in the power. No, the crap. Yeah, we're gonna bring in power. We're gonna bring in some power because I'm shell shocked. Well, I'm shocked. I mean, you got a point too. I'll give you that one. I give you that one. I'll give you that one. So this person who is coming to the stage, I'm done. Oh man, y'all! I gotta do this. I gotta do this introduction, and I can't laugh and cough and do this introduction all at once. It don't work like that. It don't. I'm done. Okay, okay, hold on. Let me get this intro out, and I promise you, y'all can drag Toby through the mud as much as y'all want to, and wring him out and do him again. Okay, so this next person is yes, power, full of it, both in a verbal sense, in a non-verbal sense, in a comedic sense, in a gamer sense. When it comes to Super Smash Brothers, yes, you will get these hands, and even just in writing. Listen, hold on. I gotta get that. I'm stirring the pot real quick. I'm stirring the pot. Gotta add in my seasonings. It's gonna be like Salt Bay. Mm, there we go. So, well, you good. Don't apologize, Chad. Don't apologize. We got a rule for that in Discord. Look at Discord for the rule, but don't apologize. So this person, like I said, is full of power, full of charisma, full of fun and wits, and she is an amazing person in her own right. I was able to meet this person in person, and she is a phenomenal person, phenomenal young woman, young lady, all the other good stuff. And so whoever then snatches this one off the roster, y'all got a good one. And if y'all don't see it, I'm gonna punch you in your chest. I got a medical word for that, but I'll get to that later. But I will punch you in your chest if you don't see what I see. And I see a lot. I see a lot because she is, like I said, she is amazing. She is funny. She is everything you could want and or need. And then I mentioned she's a gamer. Yes, I mentioned that. I mentioned it again. She's a gamer. So get that through your head. She's a gamer. Don't take it personal. She whips you. It's just she's better. Okay? It happens. So, anyways, coming to the stage to make this whole trifecta complete, we got the one, the only, and the lovely L. Let's go. Oh, I forgot one more thing too. I forgot one more thing. But since she's here, since she's here,
Wow.
she's also a podcaster. She's
Yes.
also a podcaster. Go check her out, the Agreeable Agree area on Spotify, Google Podcasts, uh,
Apple.
Apple, wherever you get your podcasting, listening ears from. She's on there.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my, if you guys could like see my face like backstage before Ron lets me on, I'm like, really, Ron? Really? All of that?
All of that. All of that. I got some other stuff, but I can't say all that other stuff. But yeah, all of that.
Okay. Like, but yeah, no, thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I delegate. Go for it. Yes. So tell us, L, the lovable comeback L, your adventures in South Florida.
Well, I took my adventures to DC,
There we
like,
go.
yeah, over the weekend, like from like Thursday to Sunday. It was not planned much, which is good because I like my only plan was to just not be in Florida for a bit, so I achieved that. Um, I literally bought my plane ticket like a week before I was even going because I was just like, I kept going back and forth. It's like, am I going? Am I not? Like my sister was in town in DC. She's usually from, and she's from Boston, but she was in DC doing like research. Um, so I was like, okay, let me go to DC and just kind of, yeah. Chad told me that like that's right. We could have passed Friday to Saturday in DC. Oh man, we really could have. What was I doing Friday? Yeah, I think I was just hanging out with my sister that evening. It was Friday. Yeah, because Saturday I was like hanging out with like some friends that I know in DC. I actually met Yeshua, if you're familiar with he goes by like
Hmm.
yes Lord on like the socials. But yeah, no, Chad, if I knew when everyone else was going south, let's move.
Flex.
Sure. I usually go up north in the winter, like to visit my sister anyway. Um, and it's nice. I actually saw snow for the first time, which was really really cool. Like that's how much of a South Floridian I am. I've never even seen snow until just a couple of days ago,
Hmm.
and it was. I think it was the type of snow that like everybody says is like okay. Like yeah, the nice like big blanket of snow is nice, but I know that I hear that that could be like really annoying too because you still have to like shovel it and do all the preparation to just I don't know get on the road or get on with your day, which sounds horrific and terrifying. And then there's like, black ice, which I guess y'all are familiar with this because everybody else has probably dealt with snow. Maybe Rocky hasn't. No, Rocky lived in Maryland for a bit, so he has. I don't think
Oh,
there's
yeah.
anybody here. I mean, for any like viewers, black ice, and Ron can correct me because I sure as hell barely know, is when like the snow, falls. Black, black ice, not black guys.
Oh my god. Oh, Kim, go.
Black guys. That's hilarious.
Oh my
Unfortunately, black guys were not falling from the sky. Maybe someday, but not this time. Even
god.
to be a tough day.
Okay.
There were a lot of
Mm.
black guys, but no black eyes. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. But black ice is when I think the snow falls and like it melt, like it. I guess like it's like a big enough puddle. It's hot enough that it like it melts, but there's a big enough puddle. Then it gets cold and it dries up, so it just becomes like just literal ice on the road, and that can cause a lot of people to like walk and slip and fall, like break their ankles and bust their ass. And also a lot of cars will be like sliding around too, which is terrible. So fortunately there was no black ice. And I did do a lot of walking, which is great. Black ice, same thing. Is there no. There were a lot of black guys, but no black guys. Y'all gotta be careful out there. Watch out for black guys. Wait a minute, guys. No. Speaking of black guys, when I was walking my sister's dog one evening, I ended up meeting like this guy who lived in the area, and he owns a boxing gym, and he invited me for like a free boxing class, like with his, it's like a group class, and it was fun. It was nice. I actually got like free, like not like the gloves, but like the thing you put underneath the gloves.
Ooh.
Not like it was like it wasn't like the whole wrap. It was like a little glove and then a little bit of the wrap.
Mhm.
So that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, no, people were like really friendly. I also got to meet like this man who was like an older black OBGYN, retired. But like he's like really big in the tennis world in terms of, like like I guess like promotion and sponsoring and things like that. So that was really cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it just seemed like people in DC were like very friendly. At least black people. Not saying like non-black people weren't, but like it seemed like it was only black people who were like, saying like, "Hey, good morning," as I was walking past on the street. It gave off like Southern hospitality vibes, yet still being North and in a pretty like really cool city.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. I'm
No,
glad I
that
went.
I would say no. That sounds about correct because I know. Yeah, this past no last summer, um, we were supposed to go to DC, missed it because COVID scared, but whatever. But from what my family members have said, for those who were able to go, DC is just the black folks just super nice, super welcoming, super friendly, and just glad to see you. You know, even then, even our family that lives in DC, again, super nice, super friendly, and just very hospitable. Just like how you said, very hospitable. So it's cool. It's really cool. I know that I have a good friend of mine. She lives in she lives in the Philly area, and I've known her for, I'm gonna get my numbers correct, about 6, 7 years. I
Okay.
known her, known her for 6 or 7 years, and we talk off and on and everything else. And when I was telling her, like, hey, yeah, be coming up to DC family reunion. It'd be nice to kind of see you for once. And if you, I know you got kids. I would love to see your kids and all this other good stuff. And so, like, yeah, sure, it's not that far away from me. Like, cool, great. But, like I said, COVID happens. Like, hey, change the plans. Not happening. Can't come out. Nope. Done for. That's all I understand. So it's just nice. This is really nice. And even then, of course, Yeshua, who is somewhat confirmed cousin. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I said, somewhat confirmed. Still gotta put the pieces together. But I sent him a picture of my brother, and he did like a side by side photo comparison of my younger brother and him, and he's like, "Dude, seriously?" I'm like, "Dude, yeah, that's my brother. You and my brother look eerily alike. Eerily,
Wow.
they look eerily alike. I kid you not. I kid you. They look eerily alike. Like to the point where, quite honestly, they could be brothers. That's how much. That's like my younger brother and Yeshua. That's how they look. So I'm like, yeah. And so yeah, we were talking a few years back. And he was like, man, he was like, you know what? He said that'd be tripped out if like officially we are cousins, because that'd be trippy. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. You have no idea. That'd be so tripped out. Like, but even then, I'm still calling my cousin anyways, just because. Just because. So it would have been cool to meet him for once and all that good stuff. But yes, holy
Wow.
crap. I'm glad you have fun in DC. I am
Yeah.
glad you have fun at DC.
Yeah, I had a great time. Like every time I go somewhere, I'm always like, man, maybe I should like move here to see what life is like. I just lived in South Florida my whole life, and it was just so nice to just be able to like walk places and
Mhm,
take the metro. Even though everyone always complained about the metro, I don't like the metro was like a little scary.
mhm,
Like I got to experience like the taste of like like the bad part of city life. It's not like I've never been in a city, but
mhm,
it's like having to deal with like weirdos and creeps. Or
mhm,
it's just like you just so much as just glance and make eye contact with a man for like the briefest of seconds, because like you're sitting down, people are coming into the metro, and you're just like looking at people, and and like one of them makes eye contact with you, then immediately wants to like come over to you. Is like, ah, fuck. It's like it's just weird because it's like you have to look at these people. You have to like for like your own protection as a human being. You have to look like at least be able to recognize the person. You can't just be like turned away and then I don't know, they attack you or something that you don't know what the hell they look like. So you're like you're looking at everyone just to be kind of like on guard. But at the same time, if you just make the briefest of eye contacts, it's just like they could just want to come up to you and just I don't know, be weird. And it's like, and sometimes like people like some of these people like look just totally normal, and they it's like, oh, maybe I don't know, they're just trying to like hit on you or flirt or just talk, because
mhm,
that crap happens. and and then but like and then other times sometimes these people are just like really crazy or just really creepy
mhm,
or very dangerous, and it's like you really just can't tell, and it's
mhm.
terrifying and very annoying. So I think we've talked it up before too. The metro.
Or people just being weird.
Oh, probably. Like, I like the DC Metro, but like one of my friends who I was visiting, she was like, apparently the Metro has like a bunch of problems that politicians will never try to resolve because politicians don't take the metro. They get like driven in. Florida people, yeah, that's true.
That is true. I can vouch for that one. That is so true. That is so true. That is
for,
so true.
for a state that says that that we're crazy, like we mind our business though. Like
Y'all mind y'all crazy business. That's what it is.
exactly. With the man, oh heck, now this is a whole thing I need to deal with. Exactly.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Weirdos are weird everywhere, but homeless people in DC are usually to like not causing no problems, doing their own. Yeah, like there was one guy who was probably homeless and crazy, but like I don't know, all the other homeless people were like, they kind of just minded their own business pretty much. Like I think one tried to like do something, but like that was it. But there was a lot of homeless though. There's a lot of homeless people.
Mm.
Like the area that we stayed in is called like Navy Yard, and it's like right across the Anacostia River, which is like it was still part of Southeast DC, but like across the Anacostia River would be like more southeast, which is even more like, um, from what I've understood, like impoverished,
Mm.
like low income. But like the area that we stayed in was like, because my sister used to live in DC probably like 15 or so years ago, and she was saying that there was literally nothing out here. There was just like the metro station, nothing, and a ballpark randomly, like a really huge like baseball stadium. So I was
Okay.
like, yeah, I was like, odd, but so they built it up like crazy. Now there was like hotels, restaurants, coffee shops, the whole yard of gentrification, like stuff that white people like, and I don't know, they like their coffee shops. So, I like coffee shops too, but I don't know why they like more things. Like they like taco places that are like with like unironic names. Like there was a place called Pink Taco, which is very suggestive, but whatever. It was pretty good. She would different.
That's a fact. That's a sure fact. My dad done told stories about that one. That's a sure fact.
The whole Noma area. Noma. No, I kept seeing that. What does Noma stand for? I kept. It's like northern. Probably not. Um, I forgot what Noma stood for. Yes, I love how international DC is too. Like I had, like Ethiopian food, which was absolutely amazing. I had Kenyan food. At least I think it was Swahili. Well, that's a language, but I had like I think it was a Kenyan restaurant. It was an African restaurant. It was called Swahili. It was called Swahili Village, which was really good. I had jollof rice for the first time, which was amazing. I don't know why it took so long to have it. It was great. Yeah, no. That's the thing I like. That's the one thing I do like about DC. That's one of the things I do appreciate about South Florida as well. Is like, you get just all these different types of food down here too. What are the names of the Ethiopia? I can't remember what the Ethiopian restaurant was. It was in an area called Mount Pleasant. We also went to an Ethiopian cafe called like Addis Paris something. Um, Kenyan restaurant was like in DuPont Circle, Swahili Village, just a little bit north. I think it was north. I think that was the direction I was walking in of George Washington University. I saw a little bit of George. I went to like this Captain Cookie restaurant.
Mm.
Yeah, the cookies were actually really good. It was like a little like I don't know, like meh kind of looking place. Well, like, but I don't know. My friends were like swearing by it. I was like, okay. I only had like 2 cookies. So I wasn't really like that hungry. I didn't want like a whole milkshake or anything.
Mm.
But yeah, no, the cookies were really good. From Orlando on down, you'll find cultures from all over the globe. I don't know, because Orlando, maybe I haven't like experienced Orlando too, but I've been to Orlando so many times though. Like maybe there's just parts of Orlando that I just haven't like really gone to that, but like I don't know, I haven't really experienced like too much internationalness in Orlando. I feel like the only international part of Orlando is Epcot, part of Disney World.
Mm.
That is quite international and pretty accurate. If I'm if I'm from what I hear. Um, but Orlando, I don't know if I just gone to like really like white areas of Orlando,
Mm.
which you just sort of get like like the same kind of shit you get everywhere else when it's a predominantly white area. Yeah. I just get really like tired of it. Like it's like a weird love hate relationship because it's like
Mm.
it's like I like the modern look, but I just hate the cookie cutter like like duplicity, if I'm using that term correctly. It just seems like very like copy paste of
Mm.
everything, of like the same kind of stuff, same kinds of foods, the same kinds of restaurants, same kind of places to go, and it just gets redundant. Like they need to, like for example, I went to U Street and there was a place called Busboys and Poets, and oh, sorry, what was he? Oh, sorry, I meant running into people like from the tourist. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely. Orlando for sure. Orlando for sure, yeah. Well, yeah, pretty much Orlando down. Yeah, because like I feel like in Jacksonville you'll pretty much just see Americans. That's northern Florida. But yeah, I can't remember what I was saying. But yeah, exactly. I like Fat Village. I like Fat Village, but yeah, it's like the whole love hate relationship, where it's just like you get sort of like the same stuff. But like, for example, I went to a place called Busboys and Poets, and the really cool thing about it was that I don't know if it was just because I was like kind of near Howard University, but like it was like a bookshop that was also like a restaurant and bar, and like the
Mm.
whole concept is just something that I just like would have loved like to have, like here in South Florida somewhere. Like me and my sister were talking about it, like how she would want me, but like because it was just really cool to like see these books, but all the books were pretty much by black authors, like black authors, black women of color authors, queer, authors, and like you see like pictures of like these just really awesome, great, black people from all walks of life, and you just don't really ever like see that because with the whole like cookie cutter, gentrified kind of, yes, American suburban development, absolutely, like with the same old like cookie cutter developments, in gentrified areas. It's always just like you know I want to say quote unquote default, but the default is just essentially white, and it just kind of gives like a lot of sameness. So like I've just never been in a bookstore where like all the books were at least predominantly the amount of books were of like black people,
Mm.
um, you know, people of color, women of color, queer people, Prince Harry, because why not? Is is there? A lot of places have that copy paste type of vibe, but none of. Yeah. Yes, exactly, Chad. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's true. That's a Chipotle. Oh man, I always get so
Mm,
sad when I'm like, I'm somewhere and it's like there's a Chipotle. It's like, come on.
mm.
Uh,
Can't do Chipotle.
yeah.
Can't do it.
I don't know.
Mm-mm.
I was in. I guess it was what area of Miami was I in? Like a couple weeks ago. I guess it was like near Overtown. I went to Red Rooster, which is like a black owned restaurant, which was fantastic. But I remember like I went to like I guess the Bayside area with my friend because that's where he was living. And is it Bayside or Bayview? No, it's Bayside. Is that where Red Rooster is? Is that in Little Haiti? I don't know like the parts of Miami all that well, honestly. All I know is it's just terrible traffic and a shit show. I just know when I'm down there, I am angry. If I'm down there, I am angry. It's like
See,
you really gotta give me a good reason to drive down there. My friend was in town, that's why I drove down there.
there you go.
Yeah. Like, oh, this is just gonna, take an hour, even though it shouldn't. Like, thanks to traffic.
Hmm.
You should be able to get down there in like 40 minutes, but no, people don't know how to drive.
Well,
But I really appreciate my compared to Fort Lauderdale. I agree. I agree. Like Miami definitely has its own identity. Fort Lauderdale, I feel like it's still trying to figure it out, but like there's like too many different types of people like pulling it at different corners. So it's just becoming, I don't know. Like it definitely had the opportunity to be something like really awesome, but now I don't really think it's doing that. Like I like it's opening up a lot of places, but it's I don't know. It's not that fantastic. Hmm.
right. I think the
I
for
hate
me,
Boca personally, but I love Wilton Manor.
I think for me, I would love to go back down to Miami and just actually explore Miami, not just be there for like a day and then having to go back home. Like, no, I just want to go and just embrace Miami for what it is.
Mm.
Even though, even though the next time I go, I may not be as too thrilled about it because the governor as of right now is making it really, really hard for me not to visit Florida. I got some cool people in Florida that I would love to visit, but that governor got to go. That governor got to go.
I know
I'm telling you, I would not mind. I would not mind at all. I don't mind at all. Like the people, don't get me wrong, the people were like 50-50. There were some people that I met in Miami, they were cool, and there were some other people I'm like, can't deal. I cannot. I refuse. I refuse. But then again, it could have been an off day. Who knows? I mean, it's a work in progress. It requires a lot of work, but I mean, we can figure something out. I think we could pull some. I think we could pull some strings together. I think we can pull some strings together. Right, Toby?
Was on mute, but yes. Thank you for that suggestion. I mean, listen, the sad thing is I just bought this. Well, I got this like October of 2020. like in this computer, I mean, it's despite the issues that it's had, like the battery life is probably the worst thing. Like, and if
Mm.
even if it goes to sleep or hibernate and it's not plugged in, it'll be drained when it comes on, which is the problem when the computer wasn't charging, and which sucks because I was actually home today. I didn't take it with me to my office, which is usually the problem. I take it with me, it drains while it's like in my backpack or something. But this case, I just didn't have it plugged in, and so it was hibernated, but it must have been like on low power already, I saw or something. So yeah, like I don't know, like getting a new computer just seems like I don't even use my personal computer that much. Like I use it in some instances for some things, but not most of the time. Like there were often times where I would literally only use my personal computer just to come on stream. Maybe to run errands, maybe to do something like taxes, but like a lot of times, you know, I was able to manage without it. So having a new computer would be like cool, but at the same time, it's like, it's like an investment that I just don't even care for that much. Like I needed one when I really needed one last time in October because that I needed that computer. This computer, as crappy as it's been at times, has been most um hasn't been blue screening, hasn't been doing most of the dumb stuff that
Mhm.
I've had issues with in my last ones. So I don't know. But I do appreciate that for sure. Um an iPad. Yeah, I mean, I've never had a tablet. I think I had like some random Samsung tab like in 2016, 17. I just bought it because it was like $100. I was like, okay, let me just buy this. It will help me save storage. That was the big problem was my phone would always get so full because I only had like 8 gigs or 16 gigs of storage. At one
Mm.
point, I had like less than a gig for my first smartphone. It was like 256 megabytes, which is terrible. But so at
Mm.
that time, when even with my 16 gig phone, the Samsung Galaxy S4, I was like, let me get the Samsung Tab. I can offload some of my apps that I'm not really using on my phone, put them on my tablet. But I wasn't using it consistently. It was just more of a pain and a hassle. Um, so I mean, maybe Gil, like maybe I should look into getting an iPad. It'll be my intro to the Apple ecosystem. I have a work phone that's an iPhone, so I've used an iPhone for the past few years for work, and I have put personal apps on that phone, but I've never owned a personal Apple product. So I mean, maybe an iPad will be interesting. Um, and I could do the same thing where I take some of the apps that I use on my phone and maybe just put them on my tablet. Um, so that way I can do certain mobile things that are important, but then I don't have to have it on my phone per se. Because my phone now I have like 128 gigs, which is way more storage, and that still is like I'm constantly running out of space. I'm constantly running out of space. I'm constantly have to keep like finding apps to delete or deleting like some old videos that were taking up space. I guess that's like my hoarding tendencies there, but okay, I'll look into that for sure. Not that I'm really going to ask you guys, but if anyone wants to give me an early birthday present for an iPad Pro, I guess I won't be mad. Um, but I'll look into it. Maybe it's something I'll get when I move, after I move. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. They're not that expensive compared to a laptop. I mean, like some laptops, cost the same amount, but
True.
yeah. Like the cool thing about iPads though is like you could get like little like mounts and stuff for them. I guess you get like the keyboard attachments and the stylus and whatnot. But like the little mounts you can have it like in the kitchen, and it's like really helpful for like recipes and things like that, and also like reading books and stuff like that. Like I've thought about it briefly, like yeah, because they're like 500, 600 for an iPad.
It's not bad.
okay, yeah, I'll definitely put this on a list. Um, get some suggestions. Yeah, I think for tech, like I've been mostly like set-ish because like there's random things I buy here and there, but I feel pretty content. Like an iPad would be interesting. Maybe that will be something that will be helpful in a lot of places, and if I can like make a good use of it, like I have to look at like what people even use them for. I guess people who like to watch things mobily who don't want to use their small phone. Maybe some people use like some kind of planners and scheduling apps. I have to like look and really see like what the best use I would get out of it would be. Because I do know there are people who would do things where they would sync notes, like especially in school, people would do certain things with their tablets. They would have like little keyboard attachments and everything. So I know some people really used it well for academics. So I just have to make sure I could like give it the best application. Such as farmers are taking care of your game. Listen. I got two. You could say I got two things. Thanks to my lovely lady friends. It was actually one friend. I mean, I'm not gonna like be too crazy and be like, oh, she's my sugar mama. But we were exchanging gifts. This was December of 2021. So she got me this backpack because my old backpack was like falling apart. I didn't really have one that was big enough to carry both my laptops. Like not even at the same time, but my personal laptop is a lot bigger. I forget the dimensions, but it's bigger than most laptops you would see. Let me see if I can find it. 17.3 inches. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
so like it wouldn't fit in like my old laptop case. I had to buy a new laptop case. It wouldn't fit in my backpack. So she got me this backpack, which also I guess has like a little charging port thingy. It's like this little thing on the side. I don't ever use that. I've never put like a battery in there. You would have to like literally connect, some external battery on the cord on the inside. But if you do that, then yeah, you can just plug it in. But that was nice. And she also got me this wallet. Let me see if I can show this off real quick without doxing myself. Not really doxing, but like my credit card info. Yeah, it's fine. You shouldn't see the credit card info. But basically, it's a wallet that it slides out. Like there's like a little button or a little tab, and it just like slides, and it's like a staircase. If you kind of see how wallets are. So I've never seen anything like that before. My old wallet was also like old, where like the cards had made the wallet expand so much that if I put in just a few cards, they would always fall out. Like I had to keep the wallet full and packed because it was always used to being full and packed, and it caused it to expand. So that was not really convenient because the wallet would like easily everything could fall out. So not to mention you need to have space for. Actually, let me not. That you might need to put in your wallet in case the opportunity arises, but we won't go there.
Toby, I got you. I see you.
Wallet. So no, it's really cool because like it's so easy to see the cards. Like it's just I just slide it open and boom, boom, boom. It fits like 6 cards here, I think.
That's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't think it can fit 7, but 6 fit comfortably. And even if you fit 5, like they're still like it doesn't just like fall out automatically, like the way that my old wallets would if you put less in than the max. So I really appreciated my friend for getting me that. And there were definitely some like things that some friends had got me, which was really nice. And I do appreciate. So no, I got some good people in my corner. Even though I haven't been as in touch with all of them as much. But yes, Operation Sugar Mama, I have to reinstate that. Get myself a sponsor, as some people like to say, to sponsor me, especially as I move. I have to move regardless because I just put in my 60-day notice to leave this apartment. It's due basically now before March 1st. So I put it in like maybe 2 days ago. And then the notice, if I wanted to renew my lease, would have been like the 23rd of the month, which wasn't going to happen because even if I wanted to stay here in Massachusetts, it wouldn't have made sense to have renewed in this same like place, especially after some of the issues we had with the apartment last year. But it's just annoying having to move all the time because it's expensive, even if you move a short distance. And plus, like my roommate also had her own plans too, where she was going to be like basically leaving Massachusetts for grad school. Like she's finishing her degree and will be working full time somewhere. And that was never going to be like it was never guaranteed if she was staying here. So it was always kind of a temporary arrangement. So that 60-day notice made things a bit more real. And it also means that I have 2 months, which is kind of wild. Even if I like somehow by a miracle and like, oh, maybe I will stay in Massachusetts, it's still going to be a pretty big change. Because would I have another roommate? Would I live by myself? And it's just like everything is just pointing to like going back to the great old DMV, to Maryland, where I mentioned before, has an apartment, or he's renting from a friend, basically his college friend's dad. I had no idea until like a month ago that that was that person. Like I had no idea who his roommate was or his landlord was until he forwarded me an email from his landlord like a month ago, and I was like, "What the heck? Why is?" I was like, "Your why is your land?" I was like, "This crazy. Your landlord is named X Y," and he was like, "Oh, he just uses his email for some reason." And I was like, "Wait, is he related to that guy?" And he's like, "Oh, my landlord is XY's dad." And I was like, "What the heck? No, I didn't." I was like, "What?" And I only just found out like a month ago that like now it makes sense why he got such a good deal and everything on that apartment because it's not even like an apartment that's really being listed publicly. So he's just kind of, I guess, in a way doing the guy a favor by renting it out, and therefore he gets super cheap rent. And by extension, I also get a pretty good deal, like 700 a month for a master bedroom. I'm talking about really good. Um, can't get something that good here in Massachusetts unless I'm gonna live in like a box or really far out from the main part of Boston. I'm talking like over an hour. Um, maybe in New Hampshire you can find a place. Maybe in Rhode Island, certain parts you might find a place. But New England is New England, so you know it can be a bit expensive overall. There was a sword in their mess. All these
Do you
friends.
think the price of places in New England is worth it?
I mean, it depends on what you want to be doing. Like, if you're really deep in some of these industries like biotech, yeah, it's definitely worth it because of how cutting edge the technology, the research, the academics are. Um, just the, some of the biggest names that you can think of, like MIT and Harvard, but then even universities that don't always get mentioned are really top tier, like Northeastern, Tufts, um, Boston University, Boston College. There's a lot of like academic and professional opportunities. If you're like a new young professional not going back to school and you're not necessarily working in, let's say, biotech, tech, like computer tech, healthcare. Healthcare is another big one. I mean, overlaps with biotech, but healthcare as an industry is also huge. Boston Medical um, College or Boston Medical, whatever it's called, Brigham General. There's a whole bunch of them. There's like a bunch of systems out here that are like really top tier. So there's a lot of good, and then the education is good if you want to like raise, kids or like have family and that kind of thing. The education systems are pretty good. Um, but I don't know if it's worth like, for instance, trying to buy a house like 800,000. I'm sure is an easy like you're probably not finding things under 500,000 for a mortgage very easily. You easily could be in the $1 million range. So I'm not sure if it makes sense to just go and buy a house. Like you could find something that's much more low key, more of a starter, but I feel like you're still going to get swept up in the high cost of everything. But the good thing is the value will appreciate pretty much forever. Um, so long story short, I like to believe in Boston, and I do advocate for it. I guess New England in general, there's a lot of things up here. Definitely politically very different than where you are, Al. Things have definitely shifted more in the opposite direction. I think even Michigan has also shifted with the way that things went this past midterm. Like I kind of related New Hampshire and Michigan because they're both like swing states, much different sizes, but the Senate race both went the same direction, like 11-point margins. Well, you didn't have a Senate race, Ron, but the governor race, right? So I feel like
Mm,
politically too, if you're more interested in seeing things go in that direction, it definitely has trended much more blue, or at least progressive is a weird word to use because it's always has different meanings. But like for instance, basic income, I feel like Boston Public Radio actually seems to be doing a piece about it because there've been more communities in Massachusetts that have been experimenting with it. So I do think
mm,
that like Boston hasn't, but I think Cambridge, the mayor of Cambridge, had signed on to one of those like mayors for guaranteed income back in 2020. And Cambridge is a very like it's populated. It's that's where MIT and Harvard are. Cambridge is like a very very. It's literally right next to Boston. So like if Cambridge goes with basic income, that's pretty huge. Even just having a pilot. Um, and then, so I think Massachusetts, like, and New England in general, like, there's a lot of things that are definitely very innovative. Like, you're kind of on the forefront of a lot of things, even politically, that are kind of cutting edge. A lot of history being made and all this type of stuff. Um, but it's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people don't like how cold, not even physically, but metaphorically, it is. Again, I've found great people and whatever, but I do think that some people have had, maybe not the same warmth and kind of the connections that you might experience, quote unquote, in the South or the Midwestern nice, which even that I don't know is always true. You know, I feel like every area has its quirks, and like you'll find great people regardless. But I think it is a bit of a shock if you're used to certain types of environments and neighborhoods, and then you try to apply that up here, where it's just not necessarily the case. But it fits me. I mean, I've I've been cool with it.
Okay.
Nice. Nice. So another place to go visit on the bucket list. No, not necessarily the bucket list, but on the trip list. Got it.
Yeah. If you don't visit in the next 2 months, and if I like, most likely I'm gone, I'll have to come back up, and we can still like I already planned to visit, and so if you're going to be in Boston, depending on the timing, I might be able to come back up,
Okay.
make it a thing.
Oh
No,
yeah,
for
that too. But I'll do say like depending upon where you be at, I'm gonna find you one way or another. I don't care how I'm gonna do it. I'm going to find you one way or another. It just be like, hey, Toby, I popped up. I'm here. Where you at? Let's meet.
No, I'm down.
So, excuse me. Goodness gracious. So, you sir, down at the bottom.
Yes.
Yes, you. Sir, I need you to introduce the topic to the peoples because this is your doing. This is all of your doing.
I'm dead. Yeah. I suppose. I suppose it is. Oh, yes. So why are we talking about the art? I will say that you gave it a great title though, because I didn't quite come up with the way that you embellished or like you framed it. So it is an art. How do we overcome setbacks? We all kind of like came together in general for this month's theme, I guess, of how to level up and how to get good, how to be on the self improvement track. Um, and last week's hot topic was great about being consistent, but it's not always perfect. You will run into issues, you have obstacles, and it's very relevant because we always run into these things, right? We can think about in our real lives what are things that we just had issues with while we were trying to improve something. And so that whole idea of a setback, it's part of life. Like it's one of life's greatest kind of, you can say, consistencies almost, that you're going to always have setbacks. Yes, Gil, that's true. Um, Different places physically, different places in life. Um, I love that though. Even just how diverse this group is. In that sense. It's pretty great to see. But yeah, so how do we kind of overcome the setbacks? Um, yeah, oof. I'm mostly doing good. Speaking of setbacks, I'm still getting over this cold, though I feel way better today than I did yesterday and like the past few days. So I have my own little lemon tea. Think I have lemon, but I also had lemon ginger. I have like multiple bags. I'd be cycling through these bags. Um,
nice, nice. Ginger is so good for you too.
Yeah, this one has probiotics too. Well, it's kind of like a bag that I brewed earlier, but the main one I have is the lemon one. But the lemon ginger with probiotics is really good. Um, and then there's like a few other ones. But yes, so that's kind of like the idea is like, hey, why don't we end it on a good note? Because you can end talking about leveling up either with kind of like how to like take it to the next level, but before you even think about that, right, you get really ambitious, but then you have to deal with the very real thing of how do you overcome the obstacles and not let it derail everything. Funny enough, I remember getting sick, and the reason why like I kind of said that this is like not, I hope I'm not like speaking into existence, but I feel like it's on brand because people will be like, oh, you're always getting sick. And recently I've been like much better. I feel like I haven't had like as many nasty colds like since like the fall. Like I wasn't really getting sick in the fall. I was mostly good. Deep in the winter, December, January, I had a little weird bout around MLK weekend, but things seem to get well. But it always seems like right this week, like right before March 2nd or right after. Like 2019, I was sick somewhere between Valentine's Day and like after my birthday. So I was sick for what felt like a month on and off with a bunch of cold like stuff.
Mm-hmm.
2020, that was right before the pandemic. I remember being sick around after Valentine's Day, like the last week of February or second last week, and then getting sick again, literally like March 3rd. It was Super Tuesday. I remember because I was getting a really nasty sore throat that day while I was watching the returns on Super Tuesday. And that was the day after my birthday. And then 2021, I was fine. That's when I took a shot on air. That was my first birthday on the stream. So I took a nice shot of Hennessy. So I was feeling better then. But last year, I was definitely sick. That's the day that actually you surprised me, which was really nice, with that banner. And I definitely started getting sick that night. And I was like, oh shoot. And then by the time I woke up the next day, my throat was on fire. So, that is like a setback. The reason why I mentioned it is that my department head, who I was working closely with to get some work implemented in 2020, I was mentioning like, yeah, I just got sick with blah, blah, blah. Because we usually would meet Wednesday morning. We had these 8 a.m. meetings with my manager, my department head. Hated them. Thankfully, the pandemic made them more bearable because I at least got to meet virtually instead of having to come in physically. But by 8 a.m. was a nightmare. Like being in person by 8 a.m. and ready to show something off was just absolutely not it. Because I was not even awake. I mean, even if I had meetings at like 9 o'clock, at least let me drag my feet together. So when I remember I got sick that time, right around like March 3rd, I was like, and I had just made some huge progress on work that she was really proud of. And I was like, oh, by the way, I just started getting sick again. And she was like, definitely get rest, recover. So she said like, rest, don't let it derail your progress. Which sounds like kind of, I mean, it was very valid though, because like, there were a lot of ups and downs I had with that project, but she definitely was someone who cared a lot about well-being and stuff personally. So I knew it came from a good place, but she was like, don't let this derail your progress, but like, good work again, rest and recover. And so I mentioned that because I do know that like even when you do have the setbacks, there's ways that you can kind of still either take the lessons from it or you kind of minimize the blow. I was at this like grad school seminar once for this Black and Computing Network, and I guess this was probably someone who was a PhD and he went through his own PhD, and he mentioned how you have to like get through those lows. Oh, this actually might have been a Georgia Tech grad visit, but either way, it was a Black person who I think was a PhD in computer science, and he was saying like there's ways of cycling through those lows where they're gonna hit, and you can't like go through your program or your life or whatever thinking you're not gonna hit the low, because that's I think that's its own kind of trap. I might have made that part up right now, but like that's the thing too, is you kind of have to know about the low. But what he did say was you gotta be able to like hit the low in a way where you kind of go through them faster. And you don't stay at them too long. Now, how to actually do that, I guess easier said than done, but I guess that's an open question, is how you kind of manage the lows, and either flip them around for your benefit, or at least being able to like minimize how long you're there and not letting it affect the pace that you're already going on.
Gotcha.
What do you mean by flipping it around?
So like I don't know, like sometimes maybe I watch too much either just TV or anime, but there's like these really bad instances that happen, and you think everything is hopeless, but then they learn some lesson from that thing. It could be a near-death experience. It could just be like it could be a loss. It could just be some kind of issue, but then they learn some lesson from that wall that they've been hitting, and they're able to look at things from a different perspective. They're able to take some kind of lesson from it, so that way they don't necessarily if they run into a similar issue, it doesn't hit them as hard. But there's a way, I guess, of learning a lesson even from I don't know, a low, something that doesn't work. Like I don't know, work out all the time, right? And the big thing is like they basically say don't miss more than one. Like if you miss a day, don't let that be like your thing that stops you,
Yeah.
Because if you think, well, I tried and now I'm gonna quit, like that's like the trap is like you have to kind of just like first you've had and you know that you've done something better than what was done before, so you don't let like a setback stop you completely. Now I don't to be more, but at least it minimizes not letting you psych yourself out by saying, well,
Right.
this thing happened, and because this happened and it wasn't perfect, therefore I quit. And that's like one example. That might not be the issue that everyone has, but that is definitely one thing where people who are trying to do a new habit or something, if they are not consistent 100%, they'll want to give up, but instead you kind of just tell yourself, no, it's okay, because you've made more steps than you normally would have.
Mm-hmm. I get you. I
For
get you.
sure, yeah.
So
I get
hopefully
you.
that like makes sense.
Yeah, it
No,
does.
it does. It does. And even then, just thinking about what you said, it actually brought me back to when I first started streaming on Twitch. And this was back, it's a little bit in Colorado Springs. So I want to say like 2014 or 2015. No, 2016. I take that back. 2016. That's when I actually got my whole channel started. No, I got my channel started back in I want to say 2013, 2014. That's when I got my channel started. But my first stream was 2016. And I didn't know if I would like it or not. I didn't know how I would go about it. And so I would stream and I would get like one or two views that come in, or I would get three or four. And then I'll have like one person chatting, and then I had like two, three people chatting. I was like, okay, cool, great, I could do this. And it was during that time frame that while I was still living in Colorado Springs, I was I think the the watch time was getting up there. I just didn't have the follow in order for me to get affiliate during that time. And so got hugely discouraged. And I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. I can't do it. No. And so fast forward, moved out to Michigan. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to get back into streaming again right now. Like, I don't know. And so one of the guys who he just made partner not too long ago, but he was going for his partner push, and he was like, you know, dude, listen, like if you want to stream and if you want to hit affiliate, we can help you. Like I can help you get there. I have people. All what they want to do is help people get affiliated because they already got it. They just want to make sure that if that's what you really want, they're going to help you to get there. They're going to help you to reach that goal. Yada yada yada. Excuse me. And so I'm like, man, I don't know because I'm kind of like inconsistent with a lot of the stuff that I do. I don't have like a huge library of games. Like I was listening to like all the stuff that I didn't have. And so when he said, dude, listen, he was like, if people hitting partner and only thing they playing is Call of Duty, he said there's got to be a game specifically that you like, that you enjoy, and that if let's say you went live, you know, if you get like four or five people who come in and just sit there and watch you play it, you know, they may ask questions here and there. Like that's all that matters. That is all that matters. And even then, even if they're lurking in the back and they don't say nothing at all, it still helps with your views. It still helps with your people coming in. He said it helps a lot. He was like, I love my lurkers. He said, because sure, I may have like 20 people who talk on a consistent basis. That's fine. He was like, the other 30 that's just sitting there chilling because they're at work, they're working out, they got stuff going on. They're just there to help me with the views. He's like, I don't care if they come in and says, hey, I'm at work, but I got you in my earphones. Hopefully, boss don't catch me. Okay, cool, great. Make sure your boss don't catch you. But again, thank you for the watch. Thank you for at least tuning in because I wouldn't be in this position that I'm in now. And what he said rattled me. I'm like, okay. He said, dude, he said, and even then, he's like, even if you don't get your affiliate right there right away, that's okay. The fact of the matter, because of the fact that you took that jump to get affiliate, that's all that matters the most. So I'm like, you know what? Got it. Got it. And so I think one day I think I was like I just needed I think it was a watch time. And I think a group of his friends, like a group of 30, just came in. I'm like, holy crap, I got rated with 30 people. Like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. But it was a lot of the people who I chatted with in his stream. They all just came over, like, yeah, we're here to help you to get your stuff and this, that, and the third. But how you doing? And all this other good stuff. So I had a good time, a marvelous time. And it was just fun. Fun, 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 fun. And so for anybody, it's just that okay, if you know where you want to go, but you're kind of stuck, that's okay because at least you know what it took to get there. For you to get past your hump, for you to get past your stuck place, you're gonna have to have like a good, strong, solid group of friends who are going to push you, even if you don't want to be pushed, even if you don't want to do it, still do it. Still have them there, and even then, if they're gonna call you out, those are the best people to have. The ones who are going to call you out and tell you, "Hey, you need to get off your, you know what, and you need to get into action. You need to do this because can't nobody do what you're doing but you, and can't nobody stop you from doing what you're doing but you. So you got to go for it. You have to go for it."
You gotta go for
No,
it.
yeah, absolutely. Like, to piggyback off of something you, Ron, and you, Toby, said earlier, sometimes you may see on social media, like people share things like, oh, you survived 100% of your worst days. And whenever I would see that, I would just kind of, brush it off and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm here. But when you're actually like working hard and, putting in the effort into doing things, I agree, Chad. No, I like seeing Gil's post on Twitter and also Instagram and
Yes.
things like that. Like, he's a phenomenal photographer for real, and also like podcast producer. Sometimes like he shows like Gil will show videos of like him behind the scenes, and it's serious. Like it's some serious shit. But it's really cool. It's really awesome. Like, um, I'm just like really happy and proud of him. Even though I've known him for like a year. But anyway, I used to just kind of brush off those posts where people were like, "Oh, you survived 100% of your worst days," and I was like, "Okay," but I was like, "This doesn't make me happier." But now that I've like, I don't know if it's just because I've gotten older. I don't know if it's just because like I've actually started to see the results of the work that I do because I've been more mindful of that. Um, I really start to appreciate those cutesy little quotes and things that you see on, like Instagram and Twitter, pretty much like Instagram from like, or Facebook from like older folk. um, because it's true. Like when you think about it in like in that perspective that you have survived like your worst days, it kind of goes to show that there isn't really anything that you can't survive. Like I've mentioned that I've like bombed on stage at open mics. I've survived that. I'm still here, like not a ghost, not yet. Um, y'all can confirm y'all have seen me in person. Like like we've all gone through, like really rough times, really sad times, really depressing times, really challenging, hard, just, you know, like times, but we've all survived. Like, and shut up, Gil. Oh, I guess I give your equipment the L, but
Ah,
I am not. Um,
you're just a little bit shy. That's all. Just that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little shy. Um, but yeah, like like we have like I've mentioned this on this podcast before, where I think back on the fact that my mom lived with me for 2.5 years, and it's just like I legit survived that. Like when I think back on, it, I was like, man, this was actually harder and crazier than I actually you know realized when I was just in the moment. But when you're in the hard time, you're not really realizing that it might be like your hardest time or one of your hardest times. This is just a moment in your life that you're just going through at that moment, at that point in time. But I don't know, like I guess like when you just have like when I guess when you just have that in mind, even if you're like at your most depressed, even if you're at your most sad, like just to know, or just to believe that it's temporary, that it's not forever. It really I guess it really helps you, like, no matter, like, at least in my experience, like, no matter how sad you are, it's just like, I know this is temporary. I know that this is temporary. I know that this is temporary. And like, it really just help. Oh, thanks, Chad.
Yeah,
So sweet.
that's a pretty good line. That's very very clever. I love it.
Yeah. Mm, he's a sweetheart.
Hmm.
Uh, there's one last thing I wanted to mention. I'm trying to, oh, so yes, this too shall pass. Like one of my favorite
Mm,
uh, Broadway musicals is Avenue Q, even though I don't think they're on Broadway anymore.
mm,
Um, and like the very last song, and like one of the last lines in the final song to wrap up the play was, I always quote it to myself whenever I'm going through stuff, especially like during like finals week in college. I used to always
mm,
play the song because the song's called For Now, and it's like everything in life is only for now. Line
mm,
goes, like, don't sweat, relax, let life roll off your backs. Except for death and paying taxes, everything in life is only for now.
mm. That's
Mm, that's
interesting.
good. That's
Yeah.
good.
I was like, yeah, like finals maybe tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow, there's no finals.
Mm,
Like you might have, I don't know, like a root canal on Thursday. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go out Wednesday. Like it's just gonna be another day. It's gonna be a hard day. It's gonna be a weird day. It's gonna be a challenging day. But Friday is still going to come. Yeah, you have your root canal. You have whatever difficult thing you have on Thursday, but Friday will still happen. You'll be fine. You'll survive. You'll live. Like we really a toxic platonic relationship. I'm so sorry.
hmm.
I'm sorry.
That is really strange. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But to be honest, yeah, no. I just had flashbacks to some instances of my own where I'm like, possibly could relate.
Yeah, same.
Oh yeah.
Like, just yeah, like I've mentioned, like some guy friends here and there where it's just like that's just one of the things like I really appreciate being like in my 30s just to prove this wrong. Like one of the things I like about being in my 30s is like the whole like frontal lobe developing and you start to just kind of realize like the BS that you were dealing with other people and like the
Mm.
insecurities that you had. It's like must be harsh. Even taxes are a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
someone still has to do your taxes though, or you or something like it still needs to be done.
Hmm.
You may not have to pay taxes, but you gotta do something with taxes. But yeah, the present is too beautiful to think about the past.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Mm, I agree.
Hmm.
I
Just
agree.
fair.
I agree. You know, jeez, just thinking about all of this. I know, Toby, you mentioned about talking about people who overcame, and I think this is fitting because when we're looking at people who beat the odds and despite all the naysayers and everything else, it's like okay, they're still here to tell the story. They're still here to um, share the details and whatnot. I think of oh, excuse me. I think about how oh, how I was gonna say, what I was gonna say. I think of Kobe. I think of Kobe Bryant, and especially when he first came into the league. A lot of people wouldn't. And I know Charlotte's probably shooting themselves in the foot, like hand over foot, hand over foot. I know Charlotte is shooting themselves in the foot when he got drafted, and they didn't think that he would be this superstar that we've known him to be, and especially when he was put in the right environment to do so. And even during the time when he was playing with Shaq and whatnot, I was like, okay, cool, great. You know, did he win the championship because of Shaquille O'Neal? And he kind of went on to say, like, we could possibly still well win another ring, and I don't need to have like a quote unquote big guy. I don't need to because it's going to take more than just one person to win. It's going to take more than just two people. It takes a whole team. It takes a whole team. And even when he had came out and said, yeah, he cheated on his wife and whatnot, that was still ballsy, a very ballsy thing to not only do, but to admit and still be like, you know what? At the end of the day, I'm still human, and still was managed to put up numbers beyond his career and to retire as arguably one of the greatest basketball players to ever play the game. Again, arguably, arguably leaving behind a whole foundation and whatnot, and just inspiring kids to play basketball. I think of actually I think of one other guy. Think of one other guy. He's not in the league. I don't know if you guys remember the and one mixtape tour. You guys know about the professor. I follow him on 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 Snapchat on his stories, and one of the stories that he talked about was his opportunity to actually go into the basketball league, you know,
Mm,
and actually go pro. And in there, he was like, he was like, I didn't. He said he put it like this. He said that I did have the opportunity to go and play basketball professionally, but because of the fact that I did not agree with the rules and the regulations that the league had, I felt as though that it would limit my creativity as far as what I do on the court.
mm,
And so he said he turned it down, but by him turning it down, he he just made it a point to still do the thing that he absolutely loves, which is still play basketball. He still puts out videos
mm,
and still makes content, crazy content, and it's still like having pros come in and showing a few crossover moves that he knows and asking um based off their experience in the league, would his crossover be considered a carry or not? And so a lot of them gave them, hey, Titan,
hey, hey.
good to see you. Have you. And so for him, a lot of people was like, he's washed up, he's this, that, he's no good anymore. You're like, his talent lost his touch. I mean, the dude is still breaking ankles left and right. And arguably, it's still the same move he did when he first joined and won, I think at the age of like 15 or 16, tour team. And, even then, there are he's not going to make it. He's trying to be like the next boss, but Hassel's like, no, dude is good. Dude is just good. He just loves basketball. He just plays basketball. He plays a very good basketball. He's just good. He's just good at what he does. He's good at his craft. And I think, for him, even though having the opportunity to go to the league, but to turn it down just to do the one thing he loves to do, which is just to play, I think that's huge. That is phenomenal.
Okay.
Anybody?
I was thinking of, like celebrities and famous people who have overcome setbacks. And I just remembered something that happened with Issa Rae before, like she got, big.
Hmm.
Like, I read this in her book, The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl. And apparently, like, there was a time when she was living in New York, like New York City. I don't know if she was like in grad school or if she was just living in New York City because I know that she went to Stanford. But anyways, like she was like doing like her film stuff and like apparently somebody broke into her place. I guess like she wasn't there. Like some she came back to her apartment and like like her stuff was stolen and of course like she had like some expensive like stuff because it's like cameras and you know like equipment and like filming equipment and things like that. And I think that's what made her like move back to LA. I don't know. I'm getting my it's fuzzy, but like her shit did get stolen, which is bad.
Mm.
But that didn't stop her. Like that would have stopped me. I would have been like, I would have been like, I wouldn't like, I don't know, like that's just like insane. Like you, so like it just kind of goes to show that like, I mean, like obviously, like this isn't news. Like of course, she had like crazy massive love and a crazy massive drive to just still continue. I mean, granted, maybe like I don't know if she was still in New York, if she went back to LA, but regardless, of, she clearly had some sort of like network that still like pushed her to probably to continue most likely. Like I don't don't quite know or remember the story. I just remember that her stuff got stolen, which is, like, I wouldn't know what I would do. Like, I know you have to just like keep going and keep moving along, but it's like, like I would have just been like so, like I can't even like fathom like I don't know if I would have continued, like
Yeah,
like
that sounds
yeah.
tough.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let me just use my cell phone for now until I save up enough money. Like, because it's like, I don't know what she was, how she was making money. I don't know, like, if she was like working at a job and, did the film work like on the side. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't fully know. I don't know if she was like in college. I don't know. But like, regardless, like, that's an expensive endeavor, whatever you want to call it, like a hobby, endeavor, like career. It's like, to start out, it's expensive, and for your, like for all like your hard work to just get stolen like that,
Mm.
and it's like now you just have to start from scratch. Like I don't know if like her stuff was insured, like I don't know, but still, like that's just so like hurtful. So I don't think she was like anywhere in her career at the moment. But I don't know. She overcame that massive setback. Like I don't know. Like that's like if Lewis Hamilton just found out that like his Formula One Benz got stolen. you know? Or at least actually more so when he was doing go-kart racing. Before he actually went on to Formula One, when he was still like competing. I think it was go-karts. I can't remember. It was like some. So I think they start out like usually. Anyway, it's like like that getting stolen or something. It's like, okay, what do you do now? Because I know that with Lewis Hamilton, his father had to take out a second mortgage to continue funding his path to become like a racer, and it paid off, you know, 1,000 times over. But I mean, I, jeez, like I can't like that's like man, like that's the kind of like hope and support that you like I don't like that's so like I want to know how I'd feel if like my parents took out a second mortgage to fund whatever craziness I'm doing. Like if they just took out a second mortgage to help me buy better equipment for like my podcast or something, like or took out a second mortgage to like I don't know, because I've had like so many interests and endeavors throughout the years, and it's like, that's just fate. That's faith. That's just like faith to know, like, yo, my kid's gonna make it. My kid's gonna go far. But then it's like also like the feeling of the kid of being like pressured to go far. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could have just been the same equal amount of love. But he did it. He killed it. He continues to kill it.
Yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
hard to wrap your head around that amount of dedication or like that amount of belief or faith. Like I don't know, like do I have faith in people that much? I mean I do, but that's a lot to stick on.
I don't. Like
Yeah, so many league references.
it's like to take like I'm trying to think like who I have faith in. Like, like to take out a second mortgage. Like it's just like man, Like that's like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. Definitely never knew that about Issa Rae. And I honestly didn't do like a lot of research, or really any, I should say, in terms of that. Like, besides like some of the obviously famous people we know, like people who had really like tough times, people who were jailed, like civil rights leaders. I didn't quite look at maybe some more of the modern day people, or even other people where you might not have known about some of the setbacks. But yeah, I mean that is super tough. I feel like that there's levels to this too, right? Like to different levels of discouragement and setbacks that have happened. Um, Sometimes you think of like your little thing, oh, I missed the day in the gym, okay. But then there's like something like that. Your stuff is stolen. That you invested in that's gonna be for your career. Um like things that do seem pretty serious, end of the world, your whole world changes. I mean, my car was totaled a year ago. It was literally a few days after my birthday, like March 5th or so. It was like Sunday night.
Right.
A new car. And yeah, it's kind of weird to process that like right now. Like, yeah, it's basically been a year. And the car I just got was like early November. I mean, that whole thing was just so hectic back and forth. And I mean, I pushed through the best that I could in that moment. I don't know if I did it the right way, because I definitely had to pay months of like rental cars on and off, Uber and Lyft. And I definitely did a lot. Like, it was not great because there's still a lot of debt that I'm dealing with from all of those expenses. That's going to be a very kind of long-term endeavor to get out underneath from. But I did at least try to push through what was like, this could have been, I mean, it was pretty derailing, but I still did what I needed to do in the kind of the short term. Um, and I don't know, it is very difficult. I think, of course, having a support system and having people you can confide in about XYZ thing is important. Like, if you try to shoulder all yourself, that really, it depends on what you're doing, but like, that doesn't always work. Sometimes you do want to take on certain things yourself, especially if it's something you're keeping close to your chest, like a goal or a project that you don't really want to make public, then that's understandable too. But I think sometimes you do need that help. Otherwise, you'll just feel like you're going crazy on how to get out from underneath of the issues that have been caused from these setbacks. Um, Now, this is actually from a while ago, but I realized I had missed it. Like, I think, Ron, it was when you were kind of going on when you kind of were addressing the topic, and I noticed in the chat, I was like, oh crap, I can't bring this up now. Ron's on a roll. But I think Rocky said something about there's a pill. He said something about like, you don't need all that space. We have a pill now. And I was like, I didn't know if you're referring to space on like the phones. Because I mentioned how I had like a certain amount of gigs, or you're talking about space with my backpack or my wallet. And then pill made me think of another type of pill. So I was like, I don't know what this was the reference to. I could probably just rewatch it, but it's like, you don't need that extra space anymore. There's a pill now. So that's my ADHD. I saw that and I had to go back and address that because I really didn't realize what that was referring to. But onto the more recent things. Yeah, Chad, people do make a lot of bad bets. And I think that's part of it too, is like, when you have these like setbacks, you kind of just like, you don't know what the next step is because you didn't exactly plan this exact thing. So you're kind of making what you think is the next best choice. What is the step that you should take after this? Like, even in like a program, like a logical thing, you're trying to like figure out what to do. Things don't always happen as you necessarily need to. So you need humans in the loop to sort of examine when something doesn't always go right in an automated system. And so in a real life system where there's so many more complexities, it's like you can't necessarily know what is the exact step to take after this statement. And I had to apply some of the programmer logic, which was not my plan before, but whatever. Like, sometimes you just wonder, like, you kind of are guessing. You don't have, like, we're not real computers that have these probabilistic models like, oh, I did this statistical model and I know that this is the best path to take based on this prior thing. You just kind of are hoping that this is the bet that will pay off in general, but also when it comes to like a setback, I think I should go forward on this path because the other option is to not do anything, right? So if you're talking to the wall of spaces, the pills is to be like a Viagra reference or something, because Anyways, all I will say is I was referring to condoms in the wallet, but we move on. One thing I've learned is that way more people succeed working smarter than working harder. Yeah, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And that's an African proverb. That's always how I see it attributed. And I feel like with working smarter, that's another thing too, is like you're leveraging the networks you already have, resources that you already have. You try to like do things that kind of have shown success before. You try to avoid pitfalls. Again, everyone has different circumstances, so you don't know 100% what's going to happen at any given moment. But there are ways of working smarter. And there's actually a book by Carl Reed. He used to be the executive director of NSBE, National Society of Black Engineers. And he had a book called Working Smarter, Not Just Harder. And I didn't actually finish the book. I probably got, I don't know, maybe a quarter way in. But he was an MIT student, and he was a smart guy, but he just struggled a lot with some classes that he thought he would ace through. And he realized there was just something that was not working about his approach. And so he had to come up with different systems on how to actually like be able to keep up with material, right? And so Carl Reed, I mean, he's an interesting guy. I met him before, like once or twice. And that book, I mean, I'll have to find it, but Working Smarter, Not Just Harder, it was mostly probably in the context of academics, right? How to kind of be able to like manage the time so that you can like be more effective with the limited amount of time you have for all the classes and extracurriculars. But I do think that there's probably a lot of like life things, and I wish I could find that book because my book stash has been all over the place. My recent books that I bought are like all here on my desk. But that book I got like back in 20, because I got it for free because he came to visit he gave a talk at RPI, and then we took him out for like dinner. So we were able to get free books as part of that. So I got that book like in 2018. So now I'm like, I have no idea where that is. But I do think that's a big thing too, is like you can work hard, but sometimes you also have to kind of work smart. You have to kind of, I don't know, think. Like, I guess there is a value to being impulsive or to kind of doing things split second. I know I usually try to like think things through, which can be too much sometimes, where I'll get paralyzed because I'm trying to figure out the exact thing that needs to be done, or I want to sort of do things with the most information, or the system set up already, which again kind of comes to my OCD tendencies, which is something I've kind of like found out even before therapy. I was talking to my psychiatrist about it, so I was like, man, I dropped my magnum condom for my. Now hold on, you getting around this heavy magnets anymore? Oh, I'm dead, Rocky. Oh my god. Well, first of all, there's more to condoms. Well, as some people might say, condom schmondom. I feel like that's when you have to embody Ash Ketchum and say, gotta catch them all, because if you're, yeah, no, Ron, you're just like, no, that's bad, that's terrible. Like there are definitely things about condoms. Don't catch them all, please. Condoms, use them, because we don't want to be collecting venereal diseases like they're Pokemon. But sorry, Al, I know you're so confused with the practice safe sex. That's all I can say. So
Okay.
oh, sorry, Rocky, I missed your other message. I read that too quickly. I didn't see the male contraceptive pill part. Never mind. We can kind of, well, no, actually everything I said is still valid because
Yes.
practice safe sex. Please practice safe sex. Even if you get your tubes tied or whatever, and you're like, I guess if you have one partner, that's one thing. And you guys know that you guys haven't been with other people. That's actually pretty common from what I've heard people talk about. But if you're not and you're out there, whew.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's a topic for a past and possibly future month. Um, but I was just kind of like wrapping up my thoughts on like, I don't know. I kind of like was chaining together a bunch of different things, and incorporating some of what was in the chat about how to know how to sort of respond to these like when you have the setback and kind of trying to figure out what to do. And for me, having OCD like tendencies, I guess it's an ADHD thing where you kind of want to be prepared and you want to have like the research done. but like, and so you'll feel like, oh man, I'm not ready for this thing. And so you can kind of really get stuck on a setback, or even if you're just trying to figure out that first step, right? Which is how we kind of started the month, because you don't know what the perfect thing is, which doesn't really exist. And that's the scary thing, is when you look at these people who like decided to like take the plunge, start a company, do these things, like they did the thing imperfectly, had doors shut in their face, got denied funding, got denied maybe clients, like you were saying, Gil, or opportunities, and you don't have the perfect website, you don't have everything set up, the perfect portfolio, but yet you still went and you had to deal with that. And I guess you learn a lot more from that too. So yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Like, Gail, what you said was interesting, that you asked the clients like sometimes what made them not want to go with you, right? If they're willing to share that, and then you can use that as a learning opportunity, where it's like, okay, great, that's something I can improve on. How, or even if it's not something you can exactly change, you still have an idea of why people might choose another person besides you, and you can just play to what is good about your portfolio. So just kind of the scattered various thoughts going on in my brain.
Awesome, awesome. Uh, want to ask this question, and again, this goes for the chat too as well. As far as in your personal lives, were there any setbacks that you faced personally, and what were the steps that you took to overcome those setbacks?
Setbacks in our personal
Mm-hmm.
life, what we did to overcome them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, you've always got, you've just always got to think about what you want if you really want something. Um, a personal setback that I'm actually still in the process of overcoming
Mm-hmm.
is, like my depression, my dysthymia, high functioning depression.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know I had it, and I just assumed that my lows were just normal. I mean, like having lows aren't normal, but I didn't really know that I could lessen them,
Mm-hmm.
or like, or sometimes completely avoid them. Like, I can't really remember the last time I had like a really long funk. Like sometimes, like like the other day, like something just bad happened. It just really hit me, but I was able to bounce back pretty quickly. But it's life. But sometimes like nothing would really be happening, and I would just start to get really, I'll just slowly start to get sad, and then I'd just be like in a funk, and then all of a sudden, really, for like a while, but they wouldn't, it's not like they would last like months on end. It would last probably like week, 2 weeks tops.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, it wasn't like I was like crying or like just being out of control. It was just more so like I just felt like nobody really wanted to like talk to me or interact with me because my brain was being an asshole and telling me all these negative things. So, you know, the way that I was overcoming it was like, you know, got a therapist, not because of that. I got a therapist because I just knew that I wasn't how I wanted. Like, I knew something was wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially with, like my mom living with me. Like, I was not happy with who I was because I knew there was a better side of me that I just hadn't seen in a long time. I was forgetting like what fun was.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I went to overcome it. I saw a therapist, whom I still see, and he gave me the tools and the advice and information to recognize when I'm starting to fall into a funk, and the tools of what to do once I start falling into a funk or trying to um, prevent a funk from coming on. And now I can't really remember the last time I had like a very like long funk, because like for me it just felt like a really like slow slope,
Mhm.
and it was just like inevitable. And then I don't know, life and stuff would happen and I would start to kind of crawl myself up. But like I noticed I was just kind of like it might like come up, but I was like overall going down, like like the stock of my happiness, you know, overall went down within the past, like 5 years, but it's starting to come back up. And I think it's coming back up stronger than ever because we have a better CEO now. And
Nice.
so yeah, so that was like, I guess that was my way of, overcoming the setback. Working out helps with my, I don't just work out to look good, it's also for my mental health.
Mhm.
Um, getting out of my little like bubble, leaving the house, texting, hitting up friends to go and do things, to have like face-to-face interaction, face-to-face conversation really
Mhm.
helps with mitigating depression and mitigating getting out of those funks. Because we're human beings, we need face-to-face contact, face-to-face interaction. Like we're social beings. Um, like just leaving the house, seeing new things. That's really helpful. I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons why I went to DC. Not because I was like getting into a funk, but like just to see new things and to do something.
Mhm.
Like because I can't, because like the past couple of times I went out of town, it was for like other people. Like I went to a wedding in October, as you know, from
Mhm.
um, and then like last year March, I went to Orlando for like one of my sister's 40th birthday party. Even though I did go to St. Pete by myself afterwards, like for a few days for myself, which was great. It was just like still like the initial reason was for my sister, and like it was, which is great. It's not like it's not like it's an issue. It wasn't like,
Right.
it's just
Right.
like you know it's very easy to forget yourself. Like I was really happy to go to the wedding. Like the wedding was absolutely beautiful and fantastic in October. Also, I went to a wedding in April last year too. In April, like I had to drive up to Orlando again. Like so like hey, it is what it is. But just having like a really short trip to like for a wedding or for a special occasion and all that, like I'm not upset about those things at all. Like those were, I had fantastic times at these weddings. Had a fantastic time with my sister and our family and seeing everybody. But it's very easy to forget yourself. It's very easy, especially when you have a big family, especially or just a family, like like you have like a big family, or like friends and like occasions and everything.
Mhm.
Um, like one of my friends is having a baby shower in like next week or this weekend, I think. And I was like, oh, maybe I should go, but I was like, I gotta save money, and I gotta like, because like I got them gifts, and I believe like they arrived today or yesterday. But to drive up there, because in Orlando again, to find a place to stay, which I can stay with like one of my, I have like several friends up there I could stay with. But it's like, oh, it'd be great to like see my friend and all that, but you know, it'll just be like such a short little quick trip. And although those aren't bad, it's just like I just knew it like wasn't really in me. So like I was just really glad that I just went to DC. It was like mainly for myself. I barely did any planning. I went to go see the African American History Museum. That was like, and the Martin Luther King Memorial. I'll send pictures of the memorial on the Discord. I don't think I shared them. Um, because that's kind of like all I really wanted to see. I've seen the White House years ago. I've never been in the White House, but I've seen the White House and I know where it's at. 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, like everybody. It, it is what it is. I saw like the Capitol building, which was funny because I didn't make the connection initially. That's where January 6th happened. But it was just nice to like, just kind of do whatever, hang out with friends who were up there. Like they just showed me around, went to like a botanic garden. And it was just like, because I didn't really want to like think, I didn't really want to like plan hard. Like I was happy to just meet that guy who owned the boxing class, the boxing gym, and just went to a class for free. Just do something, it was just fun to just try something new. Because even though every bit of me was saying no, I knew not to listen to that because my brain is an asshole. And after the workout, I felt great. And I knew this was what I needed. Just something new, see new people. And yeah, you just got to do what makes you feel good. So yeah,
Right.
try to like, be more mindful of like, really planning trips more often, or at least planning to go somewhere, not necessarily like, oh, I got to do this on this day and blah, blah, blah. But like just to see new things to get out of the house. Cause it definitely made me feel like a whole lot better. Um, just because like my brain saw a lot of new things. You worked out on vacation. Now you're just, yeah, no, I worked out twice, Chad. I worked out twice. There was a gym at the hotel. Because, and honestly, I feel like it just makes the trip better for me. Because like, it just makes me like happier. Like I did a whole lot of walking. I did like a leg and hand. This is hamstring, yeah, like lower back hamstring workout at the gym because the gyms are so like shitty at the hotels. It's like you can get a workout like if you know what you're doing, but if you do not know what you're doing, you are SOL at these gyms. You're just gonna go on the treadmill, which is fine. Like there's nothing wrong with just going on the treadmill, but that's like if you don't know how to use the weights, if you don't know how to use the I forgot what they're called, the pull machines. I can't remember what they're called. Like where you do like the tricep pull downs and things like that. If you don't know how to use things, then that's literally all that was at this gym. No, they had some really nice kettlebells too. That was exciting. But if you don't know how to use anything, if you don't know how to use those things, you're just going to be on the treadmills, which is fine. But yeah, they're not good gyms. They do the job, but it's not fun.
Yeah, you don't get it's pretty single track, right? Like you don't you get it's one thing you can do. Different speeds, I guess, different things to shake it up, but if you want to work out multiple parts of your body, you're SOL, like you said.
Yeah. It's like you could do everything, but you're limited, and you just have to know what you're doing. Like, like it's Yeah. So it's like it's kind of discouraging too. That's why like you never see anybody at the gym at the hotel.
Right, right,
So I don't
right.
even blame them. It's just like I'm doing this because I'm gonna go crazy if I don't. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna do something.
True. No, and even then, just to kind of piggyback off of you, that's basically what I had to do. And so I know for everybody, you know, I did get a gym membership at Planet
Hey.
Fitness. Yay, yes. For like the longest time, I've been eyeballing them. But the reason why I got the membership was because I was talking. Of course, I had my doctor's appointment last. Excuse me, not last year, but I think it was the beginning of this year. I had my doctor's appointment
Mhm.
and noticed that my weight has gone up. So I'm like, you know what? I got to lose it. I have to. And doing the at home stuff, it was cool. It was great. But again, like I shared before, there were times where I felt as though I was plateauing. And I wasn't necessarily losing weight, but I also wasn't gaining weight. And so I was just kind of like, yeah, you're not going nowhere. You're just going to stay there. And so I'm like, I know what I need to do and I know what my body needs. I just need to find a way to get there. And so let's see, I think it was Friday. It was either Thursday or Friday. I no, I signed up Thursday, went to the gym Friday, and it was a very weird, very awkward, but very fulfilling experience. And the reason why I say all of that is because it was weird because it wasn't the gym that I would normally go to. Just checking this one out. It was awkward because a lot of the college kids were there, and majority of the college kids, they're just doing stuff to be doing stuff. Like, okay, whatever. And the fulfilling part was I really didn't realize how out of shape I have become. And it was very alarming. And
Mhm.
even then, the missus, she kids and jokes me. She's like, "So how did you gym?" Like, "Yeah, I ran on the treadmill." She said, "But you hate running on the treadmill." It's like, I do. Like, if it was up to me, yes, I would probably be outside. But because of the fact that I live in weird weather Michigan that doesn't know when to make up his mind. And when I think I have a good chance to run outside, it gets crapped on with snow or some other weird thing. I can't. No. And even then, I just don't like being cold. I hate being cold. But why I'm stuck in Michigan, I don't know. But anyways, for the sake of argument, I just hate being cold. And so I was like, but it was still good because I was still able to do my mile on the treadmill. Then off the treadmill, rode the bike and biked for like 3 miles. So it was like, cool, decent. But I was doing leg day, and typically, I do more on leg day than anything else. But I just kind of wanted to gauge myself, and during one of the workouts, my thigh just went into like a huge shock. I'm like, ooh, no, not having it. No, not having it. Mm-mm. So I got off the one of the machines and I just kind of like massaged my leg, and I'm like, okay, I know that as of right now, yeah, yeah. Like if the weather's nice and I know that the weather's warm, oh yeah, I'll be outside easy 3 miles easy. I could get in a good 3 miles easy and I'll be satisfied. If it's cold,
Mhm.
couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't.
What's cap?
Let's get. I don't know. I don't know because again, you might like running in the cold. I really don't. I don't like running in the cold. I don't. And again, like I said, I just don't like being cold. Period. I don't. I hate being cold. So again, if it's nice out, I'm out there. Anyways, so
So,
going back to the workout, I did my workout and it felt pretty good. Then even then, like I massaged my leg out, and I was like, you know what? Like, okay, I know what I need to work on. It's like I'm glad that I didn't do um anything more because I probably would have hurt myself on the first day. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good, I'm great. But I did plan on going tomorrow, Thursday, and before I go to the movies Friday, I'll probably get in a good workout in on Friday, and then just leave it there, just leave it at that, just so my body could get, just so my body could get used to going to the gym. It could be used to being underneath that good stress, and and basically just do what I got to do at the end of the day.
Okay.
Then Rocky, you would like today. Rocky, you would love today because today was like 45. Like, yeah, today was like 45. Didn't start off at 45, but the way how it ended at 45, which was short lived because then it just dropped that down to like 30 something.
Yeah, the 40s aren't too bad. Like, I feel like once it gets under the 40s, it could get really annoying. But
Mm,
when after I finished like that boxing class, I had to like rush back to the hotel. Like I felt bad because like I wanted to like talk and converse with more of the people, but I was like, oh, we gotta like get ready and check out because I was literally leaving back to South Florida that day,
mm,
and
mm,
so and my sister was leaving back to Boston too. So like I was like like putting on my coat as I was like walking outside. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be freezing. I feel like I'm crazy, but like because I had just worked out and it was like a pretty high intensity workout, um, like I felt warm, because
mm.
my body had been like just like so warmed up, like I felt warm, and it was like walking back wasn't even that bad. Granted, it was like a 5 minute walk, but like but like walking there, I was not excited because the class was like 9 a.m. and I had to get there at like
Mm,
8:45. I didn't get there until like 8:50, 8:55,
mm.
unfortunately, but everything turned out fine. But it was like cold. I was like, oh my god. It wasn't like super cold, but it was still like cold.
Yeah, yeah.
But like afterwards, I was just like, oh, it feels like great out. Like this feels nice. Like I could see why people like grin and bear it and work out for like the hour and then could just still deal with the cold because I mean, even now I'm still like confused as to how people like live in the cold and work out like year round, like Amira.
mm.
I mean, I was like, how can she do this? I mean, some countries I can get those burpees in on a straight. I don't know, like that's crazy. Oh, I'm not as good sometimes.
I mean, as a reminder of the effort you just put in, I don't know. Um, Anything cool is good though. Like, yeah, 40 over 95. If it stays at 40 and it's not windy, yeah, it's just the dripping and everything that's annoying. It's like the wind and the coldness can just be irritating.
Mhm.
Having your nose like just constantly running or whatever, or your eyes watering is not a fun thing. But definitely a cool temperature is good.
That's true, Chad. Like, no, we gotta like because we have the beach right there and it stays hot year round. And it's like a lot of gyms down here, and like I want to say it was Miami Beach. Like a couple years ago, was voted like the second sexiest beach in the world.
Hmm.
I think the number one was somewhere in Brazil or something.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, like it makes sense. Like we have people, from like the Caribbean, South America, Central America, America, and the United States. And it's like I guess you sort of feel because people dress well. People, care about like how they look and things like that. That's one of the things I did like about DC. Like I noticed that like in Boston, people don't really seem to like give a crap about how they look. Like they sort of just like dress and look whatever, and it's like I don't want to stereotype, but it is like a city full of like nerds. Um, like understandably, like it's like the top universities there. I get it. Like when they're all like, it's just interesting, like how they all kind of like look and dress. It's just kind of like I don't mind it, and I can see how that's like very, you know, that's very like chill and low key. Like on certain days, it's like okay, I don't really have to care about how I look. But the thing I did appreciate about DC is like you kind of, I don't know, like kind of makes you feel good to like dress up to like an extent and like go out and like you look good, you feel good, you kind of want to like, but if you're just wearing like socks with sandals, you know, it's it's like I've been to Boston so many times. Also, there was like a tweet about that, like how people in Boston just all agree to just dress whatever. Like better things to do than worry about. It's true. Like they would probably like be the first to be like, "Oh, I got 5 black shirts and 5 black pants, and I just change between those. So it's just one less thing to think about." Like Albert Einstein. You just look whatever. Oh man.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like oh, you really just look very comfortable today, or whatever. Wow, I just love how you just don't have to like try. I wish I could be like that. Oh my gosh.
I mean, I say I'm like a South Florida 7, South Florida 8, but like a Boston like 12.
Hey, listen, I'm not even from Boston, so I'm not even gonna take it personally.
No, but I like Boston. Though. I like it a lot. I just feel like I would like I don't know. Like I feel like I'd feel like something's missing if I were to live there. I'd be like, oh, it's because I don't care about how I look. It's not like it's not like it. It's good to. I don't know. Like it's good to look nice, but like I get like not caring, but it's also like good to look nice. Like I feel like if I were to actually dress up and look nice, which I rarely do, but if I were to, it's like I'd be like, oh, what's the point? But I also feel like I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. At least Boston's better than the Silicon Valley area when they're just like Steve Jobs.
Oh God!
Short
Shots
sandals,
fired.
t-shirt with the graphic tee or whatever the heck.
I thought they'd be wearing like the hoodies.
Oh, yeah, that could be a thing too. I can't even imagine being that casual. Like, people really dress like that. Like where I work, I mean, I dress pretty casually, I would say, but shorts are. Hey,
Hey,
what's going on?
what's happening?
What's that?
What's that?
Mm-hmm. Um, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah. Black turtleneck. Oh man, that's weird.
Blue jeans every day. Huh. I wonder what LA area is like in terms of, or SoCal in general. Well, I mean, that's such a large region in itself, but you know, I would imagine kind of like, okay, it's always warm. Well, except this time with like just everything going on now, but it's beaches everywhere, but there's a lot of interior as well. I don't know. I guess I don't think about it too much because I guess the weather's so bipolar in the Northeast, like Maryland, and people have very strong opinions on whether it's north or south. I still geographically say it has much more in common with the North. I think people do get on us for not knowing how to respond to snow as well as the North proper, but I still feel like we actually get the weather patterns of the North much more than the proper South. But I will say the humidity is worse. Like it's closer to the South in terms of the humidity. Um, but the point is, like, I think a lot of it, like, I don't know. I guess I've never considered what the fashion is. Like, how do people dress up here? And I mean, there's so many subcultures. Like New York is going to be very different from Boston, Philly, the DC or the overall DMV. I don't know. I mean, plus like things are more global and like you can get your
Mhm.
inspiration from the internet. So like, are you really dressing because of regional things, or is it based on just like the influencers and like popular or whatever? I never was really too hip anyway. I was never super in style. I feel like had some hand me downs, and even the ones I didn't that were hand me downs, even the ones that weren't hand me downs, still were just like, I'm gonna get something that's comfortable. It's not like I'm following the trends enough. And now, even when I get stuff, I'm still not sure like what I'm basing it on. I don't think exactly I'm emulating the region um, per se. I don't know. I mean, I know like with winter stuff, right? I mean, Tim's, of course, are very popular in New York. But then there's also other types of boots that also are very popular. Like that, you have to kind of make sure you're booted up, so you can get a lot of boots that are comfortable but also look good. And then for the rest of it, I don't know. I mean, I got myself a bunch of jackets like around Cyber Monday. I don't think I have any of them here to grab, but some of them were like a little puffer.
Mhm.
Some of them had like some thermal stuff. And it was nice because there was like color matching. Like there was one that was like orange. Oh, I might actually have it. Maybe it's not here, but it was like black on the outside, orange on the inside. So it's like there you have to dress for the weather, but still kind of like gotta look cute or whatever. But I don't know if that's like maybe that's just something that you don't notice as much in other regions. But I feel like there's a lot more similarities than I think. So I'm not sure how much. Like I would have to look it up and be like, what's the dominant style? Like not just the brands, but like the actual pairing of outfits and things. Um,
Hmm.
it's not something I pay that much attention to. Um, but it is interesting because I do want to like try out some different things and experiment with different, excuse me, types of clothes, maybe looks. You know.
Yeah, same.
Hey, listen. If it works, it works.
Right.
Right.
That's your prerogative.
Mhm. Unfortunately, y'all, we're gonna have to bring this live stream to a close.
Hmm.
It is 11:30 on the East Coast. That's bedtime for us adults.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
as
Nicely
always,
put.
but as always, thank you all so much for joining us.
Let's do it.
This was a really awesome, live stream. Y'all were absolutely amazing and perfect and wonderful as always. I'll never falter. But definitely come back next week. As always, you can always hit us up on the Discord. Next week is a new month, therefore a new topic.
Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
And we can't wait to, hang out with you all next week and, discuss the topic for next month.
Hmm.
Yes.
But yeah, but you don't have to wait all the way then. You can always join us in the Discord. And yeah, we love you all, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yes. Thank you
Yeah.
all for being you and being here.
Yes,
Take care.
y'all are the
Night.
best.
Until next week.